Make some noise for your host, Kid Copious.
What up, perps? Kid Copious, back in the bunker. Purple State Party. You know what we're doing here, man. Repping the center. America, common sense. And they're saying things out of order. Yeah. Well, I always like to start the show explaining the title of it. And, of course, this one's kind of easy. Apocalypse Brandon. I use Brandon nowadays to signify anybody on that side of the fence, especially the far left people. I wanted to drop the whole Brandon thing. I wanted to move on to different things, different topics, different targets, so to speak. But, the State of the Union, the war in the Ukraine, and just the general failures of the Democratic Party have sort of forced my hand, so to speak, Glad to see this guy back on the show here, Earl Weber. And he really sums up how I'm feeling right now. Joe Biden now pushes Made in America, fund the police, close the border. When President Trump says this, they call it dangerous nationalism. And, we're gonna delve into some of these things more in depth, but the general overlying theme of this is that they know it's going to be a bloodbath. The Democrats know that they are a failure. Okay? They are a fucking failure. Their policies are failures. All right? Every single thing they touch just turns to shit. And now they're trying to undo all that, and they're trying to take credit for it. They're trying to take credit for Made in America. They're trying to take credit for funding the police. They're trying to take credit for closing the border. The fact remains those are Republican and centralist themes. These three things right there, and many, many more, are the themes that people like myself in the center or people on the right support. The left is a fucking dumpster fire. Their ideas don't work. We're going to delve into it. We're going to delve into some of this stuff. The left, for example, they're the people who have the most hysteria over COVID, wanting kids to get vaccinated. Right here, Pfizer COVID vaccine was just 12% effective against Omicron in kids 5 to 11, study finds. That was published on February 28th. This is an article by CNBC, one of the most left-wing propaganda machines out there. And down at the bottom, Instagram, Facebook, another left-wing propagandist puts down COVID-19 vaccines go through many tests for safe and effectiveness, and then monitored closely. And then they quote the World Health Organization, an organization in the back pocket of China. All right? You cannot tell me that we know any long-term effects of the COVID vaccine, okay? You can't. You can't tell me that. Okay, what? 2 years max? That's not long-term, folks. That's not long-term. All right? They could tell you that they have studies, but they have fucking immunity. All right? That's fine. We got the vaccine out. It probably helped save some lives. But it's just more lies, and you can see that even the propaganda machine can't lie its way out of this one. Over in Ukraine, the Russians just opened fire on a carload of people trying to flee. And, they killed a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I'm sure lots and lots of children have been killed over there. This one just broke my heart. Now, look. I'll be straight with you. Because that's all I want to be. Okay? There's not much we can do. All right? We can put economic sanctions, but we're still buying their fucking oil, as we're about to see. We may seize a yacht here or kick a soccer team out there, but Russia will rebound. Russia, the oligarchs, they will buy new yachts, and the people will suffer, and there's not a goddamn thing we can do about it. Okay? Because we can't risk a full-on World War III. We can't risk it. I get that. I'm not urging the president to do anything about that. But what I am urging fuckwad Brandon to do is to cut off Russia entirely. But to take it a step further and to begin to cut off China and move our manufacturing to the Americas. Okay? Made in Americas should be our theme. Made in Americas. All right? I'm sick and tired of us funding our enemies. As we're going to see, we are going to give money to Iran. We give money to Russia. And we give a shit ton to China. And all three of those assholes are about to pop off in a big way. Right here. We put sanctions, European sanctions on Moscow to cripple its financial system. Yeah, we did. We hurt them bad. But we are still allowing 30%, 36% of their country's revenue. All right? The goal, this is from Mr. Biden. Mr. Biden. Excuse me, that was the Red Bull speaking there. The goal was to maximize the impact on Putin and Russia and to minimize the harm to us and our allies and friends around the world. We get about 8% of our liquid fuel imports from Russia. 8%. It's not a lot, but it's still a shit ton of money flowing into that country. Because he doesn't want to risk his political future. All right? Meanwhile, the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, is risking his life. When we offered to get Zelensky out, he said, I don't need a ride, I need ammo. That's a leader, okay? They have members of the Ukrainian parliament who are taking up arms. They have beauty queens who are taking up arms. They have average, everyday citizens taking up arms over there. And Biden won't open up U.S. oil any further. He won't even explore the issue. He's going to keep giving money to Russia. And it gets worse. It's going to get worse. Right here, look at this. We are supposedly banning Russia from the community stage. We want Russia isolated. And we go and ask Russia to broker a deal with Iran that will give them money, billions of dollars, and will allow them to continue to develop nuclear technology. We're going to let Iran have nuclear weapons. The Obama White House claimed that the Iran deal guaranteed the most intrusive inspections that the world had ever known. But it was Mossad out of Israel who found that the Iranians were working in secret labs to enrich uranium and to make bombs and rockets and missiles. Okay? These are not people you want having nuclear weapons in their hands. You do not. Okay? These are jihadists. They support jihadists. That is a very dangerous thing. Very dangerous thing. The New Deal takes Moscow's side, flouting the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. It lifts sanctions and legitimizes Iran's nuclear power without any sort of checks and balances. And we know that Iran is going to cheat on this deal. And they will blame Trump. Right here, see, Trump. They will say, no, the deal was working. And Trump got heavy-handed and ripped up the deal. And oh, boy. But they were cheating since Obama's days. Okay, these are criminals. The one thing about the right and the left is that the right realizes that criminals are criminals and will act like criminals. Okay? The left wants to paint these criminal organizations, whether it's a street thug or a country like Iran. They want to say, oh, well, if we show them love, they'll show us love. No, they won't. They'll show us a gun and take our shit. Speaking of guns, Biden wants to say, hey, do you think the deer are wearing Kevlar? You ever notice that in the Second Amendment, it talks about a militia, okay? It talks about defending the American citizens from a government, whether it's our government or a foreign government, okay? It doesn't mention hunting or self-protection because, duh, back then, that's what you used firearms for, hunting and personal protection. So why would you have to specify that? And then to all of you people out there who say the founding fathers did not know that one day we would have M4 rifles, I'll tell you this. The founding fathers did not know what the future would bring, but they knew it would be in the hands of free American citizens. They didn't know. You're right. They didn't know that we would have 100-round magazines or 40-round magazines on a Glock, but they knew that they would be in our hands to protect us from our enemies, including those who run the country. That's why they're scared of it. I like this response. This is one of the best responses to that. No, Joe, I don't think they're wearing Kevlar vests, but the government is. You see what's going on in Ukraine right now? You really think somebody wants to try to roll into this country? Haha, good luck. Kamala Harris mercilessly mocked for saying voters got what they asked for by electing her and Joe Biden. That's right. That's right. You got Uncle Creepy and the Token. We have the two worst people that our nation has ever born running the show. These are god-awful people. Self-serving assholes. All right? I wish Biden luck, but he's proven in 1 year, that the Democrats are just fucking loonies. And yeah, at the State of the Union, Marjorie and Lauren heckled Biden when he was talking about his son, Beau Biden. Lauren stood up and said, you put him in there, 13 of them, because of the disaster that happened in Afghanistan. But as you see here, when Biden said the answer is not to defund the police, Green joined in a standing ovation, which was boycotted by Biden's own people like Omar, who does not even deserve to have that job. These radicals, man, these radicals only care about their ideology. They don't care about the results. But, again, Biden, unlike the $2 trillion tax cut passed in the previous administration that benefited the top 1%, ours helped the working people. No, it's a fucking lie. It's an absolute lie about it. Okay? 100% a lie. Right there. Boom. It doubled. Trump's tax plan doubled the standard deduction and doubled the tax credit for children. Ugh. Zero income. And I know this because on my taxes, I didn't have to pay anything. Okay? With the deductions set up the way I had them set up, which was incorrect, so now I owe money. But I saw it for myself. I saw that if I had a kid under 17, a kid that was over 17, and my wife, I wasn't paying income tax. Okay, that's what Trump did. Look, if Trump fucks up on something, truthfully, and you report on that, that's great. But when it's lies, that's the problem we have right now in this society, in this country, is that we believe lies. We believe them because we want to believe them. And that is so dangerous, and it is leading to all of the bullshit. All of the rising crime, the inflation, the lies about electric vehicles are driving fuel costs through the roof because people think that pretty soon we're going to magically have enough electricity. It's ridiculous. People just buy the lies because they want to. I want to talk about Elon Musk. I don't understand how in the fuck this ever happened, that Elon Musk, some dude from South Africa, some billionaire who makes fucking electric vehicles that I don't even like electric vehicles. So why is it that I think he's the man? Because when the Ukrainians asked for Starlink, satellite internet, he moved them. He moved satellites. He linked up the Ukrainian people with his Starlink so that they could continue to broadcast their plight to the world. So we could all see what a bunch of assholes the fucking Ruskies are. Ruskies, that's one we haven't had to use since the days of Reagan. Russian news resources and are propaganda resources. Elon Musk. All news sources are partially propaganda, some more than others. Yeah. They need to be 0% propaganda. I want boring facts. I don't need to get riled up by a fucking headline. Okay? I need the truth. That's what I need. I need the truth. I need the nuts and the bolts and the numbers so that we can make real decisions based on real information. Because as we're getting closer and closer to some of these that are going to really highlight the problem, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Woo! Here's another one. Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden is a scumbag. Pure and simple. He will do whatever it takes to get money and pussy. That's Hunter Biden for you. If Don Jr. had done what Hunter Biden had done, it would be on every night, all night on MSNBC. That's from Bill Maher. Bill Maher is a Democrat. And even he's fucking fed up with it. Because it's a shit show. Because we are in a world of hurt. Because we have corrupt politicians who have made deals and are now trying to keep those deals. And it's forcing our hand. It's forcing us to ally ourselves with Russia and the Ukraine and with China. Not that the Ukraine belongs in there, but the reason why we have to tread carefully, the reason why we have to be involved, the reason why we're going to have to reassess how much we pay for fuel now. It's because we have to stand with Ukraine because promises were made and promises were broken. Because people like Hunter Biden are involved with them. We don't have a choice. I hope the Ukrainian government just blows the lid off of everything that was going on there and just says, Brandon. You know, right here, Adam Schiff, a guy I don't understand why he has not been removed from office, said that the laptop was a smear. And then, and then they got 50 former intelligence officials to say it was a smear job. No, it's not. It's authentic. Hunter Biden is using his father's position to cut deals. And he's a scumbag. He is just a scumbag. And then when Trump tried to find out about it, they tried to impeach him over it. So they can run around and go, Trump got impeached twice. Once because he was trying to figure out how in bed with the Russians, the Ukrainians, the Chinese, all that, how in bed were the Bidens with these people. But nobody seems to care. Look at this shit. Obama freezes assets of Libya. Hunter Biden tries to get $2 million a year in retainer to try to get his father to unfreeze the accounts. So countries like Libya, Gaddafi, people like that, are going to Hunter Biden and saying, hey, we need a favor. Okay? Would you guys be upset if maybe he cut a deal with bin Laden back in the day? And I'm not talking about the old days when we were fighting Soviets in Afghanistan, all that crap. No, I'm just talking about the bin Laden who flew planes into our towers. Yeah, okay. So, basically like this dude was saying here, Mr. Jonathan Turley right there. Influence peddling is a virtual spectator sport in the nation's capital, a protected corruption. That's why we need Purple State. These people are protecting corruption. So, the shit show that's the Democrats have resulted in the poo-covered streets of San Francisco. Hundreds of homes sit vacant. What? How could that be? That's a fair question. Because of fucking red tape, man. There are 888 vacancies in permanent supportive housing stock as of February 22nd. Ha! They've approved 1,600 people, but they can't get them in because of red tape. And instead of working on the red tape, instead of streamlining the process, instead of maybe removing some of the permitting processes and cost involved in actual low-income housing, London Breed wants to spend hundreds of millions of dollars for more houses. So, but you can't get people in there. You want to have all of these rules and regulations. That's one of the big problems we have. And blow the lid off things right here. But when you try to build low-income housing in California, there's so much red tape. There's so much wheel greasing. There's so many permits and inspections and all the stuff that you got to go through that it's very hard to actually build low-income housing. Very difficult. It's time-consuming. And then all of these procedures that they have, all these hoops that have to be jumped through, right, to get the people in the house. Well, they're not serious about it. They're using homelessness to make money. Pure and simple. Here's another great failure, okay? There was this dude who walks in, I believe he was at a church, kills his own 3 daughters and the chaperone that was there to supervise their visitation. A few days before the murders, he was arrested for assaulting a police officer. ICE asked to be notified of his release, but because of the sanctuary state law, ICE was never notified. This fucker was in the country illegally. So now, 3 little girls are dead, and a chaperone are dead. This guy shot him with an AR-15. How the fuck did he get that? California's got gun control laws. Oh my God. Because again, you side with the criminals and you punish the law-abiding gun owners. The law-abiding gun owners don't commit crimes because they're law-abiding. The criminals do. But you don't go after the criminals. No, you don't go after the criminals. You don't want to send an illegal alien back to Mexico or wherever he came from. No. No, you're a sanctuary state. Sanctuary state. What could possibly go wrong? This kind of shit. This is what could go wrong. He should have been detained by customs. Immigration Customs Enforcement. ICE. Ice Baby should have come on in and taken this fucking scumbag away. And then his kids would still be alive. But no. No. Speaking of left-wing failures, Cortez. Oh, AOC, man. 32 years old. Dumb as a stump. She has used her money to get apartments in New York City. She owns a Tesla. She goes to the Met Galas and expensive balls. Gallons, man, you could say, oh, some of that will pay for her. But she is not paying off her student loans. She just isn't. Where was that one? Boom. Huh. By her own admission, she hasn't even made enough payments. She's basically trying to get the government to pay off her loans so she's not paying it off. She makes something well in excess of $150,000 a year. She owes something like in the neighborhood of $20,000, but it's lower than that depending on which figures you listen to. But she is not paying off the loan. She's just going to try to get the government to pay off her loan for her. Because that's what these people do. They're not for the people. They're not for you and me. They're for themselves. That's it. For themselves. 100%. I don't know why we even try to believe anything differently. And you're a fucking fool if you defend these people. Here we go. Guy attacks a woman, smears feces all over her face. He is out. He's free. He's bragging about it. Look at that. Poop attack perp bragged on Facebook about getting out without bail. How is that working out? The victims have to live with this for years, if not for the rest of their lives. And these people are barely doing a day in jail. Electric vehicles are more fault prone than than gasoline ones. Wow. And you really think that's going to get better? No. And wait until your battery conks out. Batteries are super expensive. I mean, if you lose your entire engine in a car, that's comparable to the battery. Okay, and these things use all kinds of sensors and fragile bullshit. Good luck. Good luck with your electric vehicle. Good luck with it. So as much as I just wanted to leave this one alone, I can't, because it's still coming up. Leah Thomas, the Penn swimmer. I read this one because this article, and it really impressed me, because it's time that we say what these people say. Sports Illustrated is celebrating it. This is a guy who, for all intents and purposes, appears to have just cheated and started to say he was a girl. And like they point out here, one cannot authentically change from male to female just by saying so. And that's fine. If he was just to do that as an average, everyday person, okay. But even that is fraud. Because pretty soon what you're going to have is you're just going to have biological males claiming to be women so that they can meet certain quotas, get certain jobs, take advantage of things. We have created these exploitable situations. That's what we've done. We've created exploitable situations. Real women should not have to suffer so Leah Thomas can identify as one. As you can see right there, read that for a second. You know, that's kind of, oh God. We've been told to follow the science, and the science is that biological men are far superior to women in certain competitions, and therefore should not compete against them. They should compete in an open category, aka the men's category. Furthermore, while Leah seeks respect, Leah has directly benefited from disrespecting her teammates. They lost the right to fair competition. They lost the right to not be exposed to male nudity in the locker room. Do you understand that that's the cuckoo shit we're at right now? Okay? This is a guy who claims to be a woman, and he's naked in the women's locker room. Okay? It is true that Leah should not be disrespected. However, Leah Thomas must also respect others, especially the women who lost their rights so he could shine. Because it's very hard for me to call him a she, because I think he's completely faking it. All right? I don't think the average trans person wants to hurt the gender that they feel comfortable in. I don't think trans females or trans males want to hurt males or females. I don't think that's what it's about. I think it's the scumbags who take advantage of it. Exploitable situations. That's what it is. But I got to move on, because I just, I love the trans community. I do. I have no problem with them. I have no problem understanding where they're coming from. And that's why I say I don't think genuine trans people are trying to make things difficult for the gender that they're transitioning to. I don't think a trans female wants to expose male genitalia to college girls or younger girls, such as what happened at a spa out here in Los Angeles. I don't think that at all. I don't think like that child rapist who's doing 2 years in a juvenile facility as a female after never being a female until the day he was arrested. I don't think that's a trans female. I think that's somebody faking. That's the exploitable situations that I worry about. I don't think trans people are out to use their transition to exploit things. I don't believe that at all. I think people are scumbags. I think men particularly are scumbags, because men are behind a lot of this, allowing a lot of this. Because again, how is the man? What? So I'm at a locker room and a trans male comes in and exposes boobs, exposes their vagina. It's not the same. So it's not the same. If a female wants to be a male and compete in swimming, she's probably not going to dominate. I don't see that happening. I don't see a woman joining a men's soccer team and dominating. I don't see that. So it's very easy for 50% of people just go, whoa, what's the problem? Because they're men. And going that way, it's not as harmful as going this way. That's the plain simple fact. But I don't put this on people like Caitlyn Jenner. I don't put this on people like Blair White. Okay? I put this on the scumbags who exploit these stupid situations that we create. Moving on to some of the best of the week. We're just going to slam through these. Right here, great example. Biden basically saying, hey, don't ever give up, but then he's giving U.S. dollars to Russia while trying to strangle Russia. As you can see, this is not working out well, and the people who are suffering are the Ukrainian people. And again, here he goes flying. Look at him with his fucking sippy cup and his teleprompter. On Russian oil. He's doing it for political gain. Oh, well, hey, kid, you complain about high gas prices. What would happen if we cut off the Russian supply? Well, maybe meaningful change. Maybe the Russians would pull out. Maybe they wouldn't. I believe that we should be energy independent. Okay? We have the energy to do it. We should be energy independent. Donut sales surge as police departments refunded. Ron DeSantis bullies kids into doing whatever they want. Yeah, that's the media spin for you. Jerry Seinfeld threatens to remove B-movie from Russian streaming services. I don't really know how the Babylon B movie. I don't know. The face you make when Russia invades a country that launders your money. Yeah. They're entirely possible. And like I said before, I hope the Ukrainians expose the Bidens for what they really are. Corrupt assholes. General Milley calls Russia to warn them of Ukrainian counterattack. Yeah. That fucking guy. Again, Bronco, this is just a great run right there. He shuts down the American energy as much as he possibly could, and then drives around a car with all those bumper stickers, support Ukraine, and he's pumping Russian energy into there. And NATO's the same way. NATO countries, Germany gets half of their fuel from fucking Russia. Like Trump said, I don't know how we're supposed to defend you against Russia when you're buying their oil. You're giving them money to buy tanks, and you want us to defend you. I don't know about that. 40 chest. U.S.-Mexico border disguised as Ukrainian border, so Democrats will defend it. Yeah, that's pretty much true, because all of a sudden, everybody on the left wing is pro-Ukraine. Because you can put a flag on your Facebook account. Hey, look at me, I'm helping. Americans who cowered under government oppression for 2 years urge Ukrainians to die for freedom. Whoopi Goldberg says America should ignore war in Ukraine as it's just two groups of white people fighting. See, again, she says what she says, and she gets a suspension, but yet we have our former president banned permanently on Twitter. You see what I'm saying? Look, if it's good for one, it's good for the other. We need fair and equitable in the media, okay? I get it. If you want to ban hate speech, but it's got to cut both ways, or people are going to start seeing through it, much like they're seeing through it right now. Lots and lots of people are starting to see the hypocrisy that's going on. Why do you think CNN is in a death spiral? Because people have seen through it. They realize it's just propaganda, and people don't want propaganda. Boom, Taiwan issues official statement. Lol, we're so screwed. I hope that's not true. Russia removed from Apple Maps. Well, that'll help. I wish we could just remove Russia from the planet, period, but okay, that's a great one. Biden announces increased spending on Smurgberg, Rustamurfins, and Blab Trussels. The president of the Ukraine is standing with his people. He has not fled the country. And our president can't even speak complete sentences. Biden gives up coherent speaking for Lent. Yep. Look at the people behind him. Look at those three. Those are like the three biggest fools on the planet. And you know what makes it even worse is those three fools have fooled a lot of people into buying their shit and making them wealthy, powerful people. That is the ruling elite of our country right now. Those three scumbags. Biden practices saying the State of the Union is strong in a mirror with a straight face. Yeah, because it's not. One of my favorite targets, AOC. I stand with Ukraine. Get it? Because it's a crane, not Ukraine. Come on now. She is that dumb, though. No, we're going to end with this one. You know, when I heard the State of the Union was coming up, the first thing I thought was somebody's going to make a meme about just a dumpster fire. And leave it to the Babylon Bee. State of the Union will be just a 90-minute broadcast of dumpster engulfed in flames. Well, because that's what it is. That's what the state of our... it is a dumpster fire. Because the politicians want us on each side so we can't see what's going on in the middle. The media plays along with it. We have soaring costs that the media tries to play off and say, oh, well, this isn't really Biden's fault, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't matter whose fault it is. What can be done? What is really going on? Because the real truth of the matter is, in my opinion, is that if the media, Twitter, other propaganda sites, if they were honest, if they just laid everything out on a table and did not sugarcoat and twist and convolute and all that, if they didn't do all that, I think the Democratic Party would be dead. Then, people such as myself, we could set our sights on creating a new party. One that is in the middle. One that has compassion and common sense. One that can lead America back to greatness. Not that difficult. Copious, out.